everyone, and welcome back to Miss Azriel's Gaming. So we're going to get on to day 4 of the Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker.
There's someone else in my hour.
I brought David back to life.
I removed the chains, dressed her.
It was Iris.
We could try shifting now.
Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Sorry.
We've both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind, and that broke. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are
Grateful if you could see your way to declaring me
insane, or at least
temporarily insane.
There was no flame. And then there was.
I'll kiss a guy,
I pretended like the hypnosis had worked.
and then he just follows me
Can we maybe not talk about Hannah anymore?
wherever I go.
It may just still pull out in front of the driver.
Okay, what dream was that? Jaya thinks I should tell all the patients I can stop their problems. Perhaps I should avoid her till later. Yeah, in that last one we had that odd dream. Okay, so we have the loan agreement, which is £15,000, £1 arrangement fee for 36 months. By signing this agreement, the borrower agrees to accept the sum of the loan amount and to repay the loan amount in full within this term stated. The sum of the loan will be transferred by the lender into an account designed by the borrower within 14 days of signing the agreement. It is agreed that the loan shall attract no interest, and in lieu of accruing interest, the lender has agreed to the payment of the arrangement fee, which is due before transfer of the loan amount. The lender also agrees to consider the loan repaid in full should they die or become subject to any power of attorney agreement, as long as this event occurs within the term of the agreement. Okay, so ledger's signature and then the borrower's signature is Mariana. Okay, then we have the toxicology report with the Regional Laboratory Services Toxicology Analysis. So on Dr. Dekker, he was positive for ethanol in his system, as well as benzodiazepines, or benzodiazepines, which is the temazepam. Yeah, it's temazepam, isn't it? Which that was positive for. So that was the sleeping drug that he was giving to some of the patients, I believe. And then he was also giving Mariana a loan for something. So we have Mariana, we have Eileen, Claire, Bryce, Jaya, which in the notes it said to ignore her for now. We have Scarlett, and we have Glenn. So we've got 2 new people as well as Nathan. So let's go ahead and start with Glenn. Who are you?
Sorry, I'm Glenn. I didn't expect to be here. I was looking for the men's room.
Definitely not a men's room. Why didn't you expect to be here?
Like I said, I was in the green room. You know, that new restaurant in town. I actually need to do something. Done. Sorry. I was in the middle of a day and needed the restroom, and here I am.
The restroom?
Sorry, you're not familiar with my case. I stepped through the restroom door into your office. Sometimes when I go through a door, it opens to another place.
I should ask Glenn if Jaya saw him walk in. Did Jaya see you?
No, I shouldn't imagine she did that. I didn't even pass through the waiting room. Besides, it's lunchtime, she won't be there.
You know Jaya's lunch schedule?
No, not really. But it's lunchtime, and you don't normally see patients now. Well, Dr. Dekker didn't normally see patients now.
Tell me about Dekker.
Dr. Dekker was crazy. I arrived late to the party. Apparently he was a fine, upstanding citizen before. Don't know what changed him. Of the few sessions I had with him, he'd observed me walking through doors.
What did he observe?
But I'd walk through a door and I'd disappear. Then I couldn't get back. The session was £150 either way. So I paid that for a couple of times and then decided it was a bad idea. as you can see, it's still happening.
What's still happening?
The doors. I'm still vanishing from one place to another.
What's causing your problem?
My dad died. He was on his deathbed and I was complaining about work, women or whatever. It was an idiom. He said, when one door closes, another opens. When he died. I needed those words to be important. So here I am.
Tell me about your dad.
He was stoic. He had tuberculosis in his lungs. That's what killed him. Nobody knew until the end. I never got to say I loved him.
Did you regret not saying you loved him?
Yeah, maybe. He'd split with my mum 3 years earlier. It was messy. It was bad. I didn't talk to him really at all. They called me as next of kin, said I should come in if I wanted to say goodbye. I did love him. He just broke everything.
Did you make peace with your dad?
No. I hadn't seen him for so long. I just let it all out. I screamed, I shouted, I punched the walls. Do you know what he said?
What did your dad say?
Sorry. Over and over again. Like he really meant it. He did. He really meant it. And when I stopped, when I was exhausted, he smiled at me. Like he cherished me. Like he'd been waiting to say sorry. Waiting for forgiveness.
Did you forgive your dad then?
I didn't get to. I didn't get to say I loved him. I didn't get to forgive him. He just said when one door closes, another opens. And then he died. What does he think of me?
Your dad loved you.
All those years, thinking I was the bigger man. It turns out he was. There's no going back, is there, Doctor? When one door closes, it's shut forever.
Yes, the door's shut forever. No, the door is not shut forever. Say no, the door's not.
How? How do I go back?
I should tell Glenn to stop feeling guilty, or tell him to just open a door back into the room where his dad was, or go back in time if that helps him deal with it. Just open the door back, travel back in time, try to forgive yourself. Probably try to forgive yourself.
I think you're probably right. I've been trying to address the symptoms and not the root of the problem. You might be the best replacement doctor this place has seen.
Well, thank you.
I'll book a real appointment next time, and you can help me with this. Thanks, Doctor.
What if I say that one? Just open a door back.
I hadn't thought of that. I've just been thinking when I open a door, it goes somewhere else in the present, not in the past. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. I'll try that. Now. I'll try that now.
And he's gone. Okay, let's try Scarlett since she's new. So who are you?
Scarlett. I haven't been in since he died. Since Doctor Dekker died.
Tell me about Dekker.
He was a complicated man, as I suppose most people are. His external persona didn't match what he dreamed about.
What did Dr. Dekker dream about?
His dreams were amazing, filled with a spectrum of colours and creatures. It was like Narnia for grown-ups. That was in the beginning.
How do you know what his dreams look like?
I'm a dream walker. I can visit people and help them in their dreams. You've not caught up on all his old patients yet, then?
I don't think I'd want to be able to be in people's dreams. Seems like it might be a little weird. What creatures were in Dr. Dekker's dreams?
Fluid. Soft. Intricate things. I couldn't draw a picture if you asked. But they drew you to them. They looked a little strange, but you felt compelled to watch them.
How did Dr. Dekker's dreams change at the end?
Chaotic, dark. Like an earthquake, everything you stood on shifted into something else. I think he was fighting with something internally, and it was winning.
What was Dr. Dekker fighting?
I don't know. It's a turn of phrase. Inner demons? Insanity? I don't know. I can visit dreams, but I can't force the dreamer to interact with me.
How do you dreamwalk?
It's something I've been able to do since I was little. I was born an identical twin, and my sister and I shared dreams. We just thought it was normal. When our younger brother started having night terrors, we helped him. I just need to know the person, a little, and know they're dreaming. Then I can sort of jump into them.
Tell me about jumping into people.
It's something, I think, in my mind. Firstly, I need to sleep myself. I'm constantly tired, so I can pretty much sleep on demand. Before I go, I think of jumping into that person. That's how it works for me. I've tried teaching others, but I don't know if anyone else can do it.
Who have you taught?
I don't know. Lots of people. Whenever I get close enough to tell somebody about it, the first thing they want to do is try it out or have me visit their dreams. That's kind of why I'm here. Relationships.
How are your relationships?
It's difficult to sustain them. I'm not just talking about romantic entanglements. It's hard keeping friends, too. Like I said before, I tell them about my ability and they immediately want to try it out. The problem is, I don't normally like what I see.
Why don't you like what you see?
I think people try to show off. Firstly, they're a bit shocked if I turn up in their dream. But when they're comfortable with that, they start to put on a show. But most people can't control their dreams, so they tend to turn into nightmares pretty quickly. Oh look, I'm dreaming of a giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Oh, why is it destroying New York?
Okay, so why do other people's dreams affect your relationships?
When you've experienced someone's dream, if they've been a bit creepy in it or terrified me, it's hard to look someone in the eyes after that. It's embarrassing. What should I do, Doctor? Should I not tell people about my ability? Keep it a secret, bottle it up?
I don't think I would want to tell anybody about it. Keep it a secret.
I'm not sure that's healthy. But I guess I could give it a try.
I mean, at least until you're
What if
really,
it
really, really
accidentally
comfortable
comes
with
out?
somebody.
Is there anything else I can do to stop pushing people away?
Scarlett wants to stop pushing people away. Maybe she should just refuse to dreamwalk for them, or be honest about what might happen, or accept they're just dreams. Well, you could refuse to dreamwalk.
So, if I could breathe through my ears, you wouldn't want to see it. I do say no. A lot. But I usually cave eventually.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. Let's see. Maybe except they're just dreams.
It's difficult to do when you experience them like I do. But I know what you're saying is right. A lot of the time I assume people are controlling their dreams like I can. But they're probably directed by their subconscious, and who controls that?
Maybe you could be honest.
Double honest.
Let's just go through all the choices.
Interesting. I suppose I haven't really tried that. I might just give that a go.
Okay, so were you dating Dekker?
He's dead now, so I suppose it won't affect him if I admit to that. So yes, I was. Not near the end, though. Not when his dreams started changing. Like I said, my ability ruins relationships. Who told you? Jaya?
Why, Jaya?
Just thought she'd know. Thought she'd know everything about her precious Doctor Dekker. Sorry.
Somebody sounds jealous.
We didn't speak that much. But she was a lot like the other woman. So much control over someone who was supposed to be her superior.
What were you doing on Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day was awful. I had a bit of an accident with a creme brulee torch and had to spend the night waiting in A&E. I melted a nail to my finger. It hurt a lot and needed stitches. It's all fine now, though.
It'd been funny if it was her middle finger. Okay, let's go to Bryce. Let's just get him over with. I can't stand him. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm worried. My pursuer in the hour, he's definitely military. I've developed a new skill to deal with him.
What new skill have you developed?
Last night, I saw him draw something from his jacket. He was approaching me, grinning. I had nowhere to go. So I closed my eyes and imagined. Well, I imagined being back home. And when I opened them again, I'd teleported.
Maybe he just woke up. Do you know anything about sleeping pills?
My other doctor had prescribed me sleeping pills before I came to see Dr. Dekker. I think they were called temazepam. I never took them.
Have you seen Jessica again?
I saw Jessica across the street this morning. She waved, but I just crumbled. Ever since I took those photos, I haven't been able to face her. Do you think I should tell her about the photos, Doctor?
Okay, so I kind of want to keep him on my side, so I'm going to say no, don't tell her about the photos.
I didn't think I should either. She'd hate me forever. Maybe when she next waves, I'll at least wave back.
Okay, how is work?
Work is fine. If anything, I've been falling behind again. I think it's the stress of not being alone in the midnight hour anymore.
What have you been doing in the midnight hour?
I stole a painting. There, I've said it.
Still doing it, aren't
It was
you?
from the local gallery, Providence. I really like it, but I can't afford it. So I took it.
What else have you stolen?
It's just that one thing, just the painting I've stolen recently. I think my new pursuer is unraveling me. Is it okay to steal things, Doctor? If I really like them?
Really, dude? No, it's not okay to steal things.
I thought you'd say that. I will do my best to refrain from it, but I can't promise anything.
Did you ever see Dekker drink alcohol?
I never saw Dr. Dekker touch a drop. Doesn't mean it wasn't going on behind closed doors, though, does it?
Okay, how do you know your pursuer is definitely military?
My pursuer. He's measured in his approach, watching, testing. When he finally came for me, I wasn't ready. I think he underestimated me, though, and that allowed me to escape. He didn't think I'd be able to just leave. Why do you think he's coming after me, Doctor? Oh, I think I might know.
Why do you think your pursuer is coming after you?
I think he's death, Doctor. I think I saved that old woman from burning to death in bed, and now he's coming after me to even the score. Do you think it could be death?
Sure, why not? Yes, I think it's death.
Yes, perhaps it is death. I've done something good, and now I'm being punished for it. But why would it wait for me in the hour, though? Wouldn't it just come for me crossing the road?
Okay. Tell me how you were able to teleport.
I was as surprised as you are. I just imagined I was somewhere else, and there I was. Perhaps Dr. Dekker was right. Think of something, and it becomes real, if you believe in it. But I'll only do it wisely. Imagine the mistakes you might make. Don't want to become one with the igneous layer too soon.
Can you demonstrate how you teleport?
These sessions cost a lot of money, Doctor. I'm not just going to leave in the middle of one. But I can see you don't believe me. Do you really want me to teleport, Doctor?
Yes, I want you to teleport.
Blink, and you'll miss it.
Ooh.
Told you.
Yeah, that didn't work for your face too well. You said it before you feel like you're unraveling.
No, I'm not becoming him. I'm not becoming Dekker.
Is this a photo of David Castleford?
Yes, that's David Castleford. I've no idea when it was taken. Shocking composition.
What if I told you I could stop your curse?
No, Doctor. No, you can't. I've seen what you can do. You can listen and ask, but you don't have any real power.
Rude. Tell me about your referral.
I was one of Dr. Dekker's first patients. I wasn't referred by anyone. My GP recommended I saw someone privately. I think he was just sick of listening to me complain about how little time I had during our 10-minute slot.
I know I'm sick of it. Okay, so we got no more questions for Bryce, so let's go to Claire. So how are you today?
There's no lake house today, sorry. David's not doing very well. He's caused a problem with the girl. I need to do something.
What's the problem with the girl?
The little girl, our neighbor at the lake house, she says David is weird and creepy.
Doctor!
Good
Sorry.
God.
But I found some of the referral letters we were talking about. There is a pattern, but it's not the same for everyone. He said to get them to you ASAP, so here you go.
trying to give me a heart attack, Jayla? Okay, there's something strange about these solicitors' name. Hackett, Brown, Chart Token, and Lawcrat Rowenbeck. Okay, Cat Roundback solicitors, for the attention of Dr. Dekker, I'm referring yet another client to you today for further psychiatric evaluation. It is my hope that you concur with my suspicions and are able to find him insane under the guidelines set within the McNaughton rules. Doesn't really specify who. Okay, so for Chart Token and Bra, dear Dr. Dekker, we believe that our client, who has only given us her first name, Mariana, is mentally unstable and would like your expert opinion on the matter. We are happy to cover all your costs and look forward to receiving your report forthwith. So G Chart, Token, and Bra. Oh, there's one more. Okay, Hackett and Brown, dear Dr. Dekker, I refer a client to your clinic for evaluation. Claire Castleford, she's being charged with the murder of her husband, and we require your diagnosis as to whether she was of sound mind and had the means required for the crime. Yours sincerely, Messrs. Hackett Brown. Okay, what has David been doing?
David has been hunting and skinning again. But from the look of the torso, he caught a domestic cat. I'm being generous. It was definitely a cat. I spoke to David about it, but I have no idea if he can comprehend me or not. He just grunts at me. He doesn't even smile anymore. Not at all.
Where did the cat come from?
Yes, sorry. I left out an important detail. The girl, Anushka, she was crying because her cat had gone missing, and she thinks that David killed it. Doctor, I'm worried.
Anushka. What are you worried about?
I'm worried that David's not going to stop at cats. He's killed deer, rabbits, wild birds, and now cats. I'm worried he might add little girls to his list. I can't stop him.
Why can't you stop him?
I can't stop him. I can't control him in any way at all. Ever since I brought him back from the dead, he has done nothing but ignore me. I'm starting to think that...
What are you starting to think?
That I need to put David out of his misery. That I need to end his suffering. That I need to kill him again. What shall I do, Doctor? Should I kill David?
That might be the best course of action, because she can't do anything else, and we don't want the little girl to get hurt or something, so yes, kill David.
I love him so much. But you're right. It's time. He's becoming a danger to people around him, not just himself.
Especially because he sounds like he's getting a little more savage as time goes on. Have you ever taken diazepam?
I've never used sleeping pills. I'm too afraid of what would happen to me in my sleep.
Was Dekker an alcoholic?
If Dr. Dekker was an alcoholic, he hid it well. I never saw him drink. He certainly never offered me a drink. God knows I could have used one.
Have you talked to Bryce or Iris?
I never talked to Bryce, but I did talk to Iris. She didn't want to at first. She blames me for David's death, but as we both know, that's not a thing. Anyway, she said she was never locked up in any basement and had never heard of any Dr. Dekker. So it's, as I first suspected, a lie. You didn't make all of that up so I talked to Iris again, did you?
I should tell Bryce Iris denies being locked in the basement. Yes, I made up the story about Iris. No, I didn't make up the story about Iris. I didn't come up with a story about Iris. So no, I didn't make up the story about Iris.
Then Mr. Bryce seems to have a few more issues than me. Perhaps you should ask him about that.
Do you remember the photo?
Oh yes, here. From a few weeks ago. As you can see, Doctor, he looks perfectly normal.
Did Dr. Dekker offer any theories about David?
Dr. Dekker was very quiet in our sessions after seeing David. After a while, he started talking about David like he was a pet, asking me what I fed him, what he'd do in certain conditions.
Why was Dr. Dekker talking about David as if he was a pet?
I think he was fascinated with it all, and David and I had become new test subjects for him. When I said David never listens to me, he urged me to start giving David treats for pleasing me. Not in that way, but showing him how to close a door, for example. If he did it, give him a treat. It did actually work, but I had to stop myself. I felt like I was training a monkey. It just wasn't right.
What certain condition was Dr. Dekker interested in?
Dr. Dekker asked me if I'd ever accidentally locked David in, which I hadn't, but curiosity got the better of me, so I locked him in the lake house. He couldn't get out. He didn't have the wherewithal to operate the lock.
I can stop you reanimating people.
That's an interesting idea, Doctor. It's not really something that needs to be done, though. I have no intention of reanimating anybody anymore. It hasn't gone very well in the past.
Tell me about your referral.
My solicitors did refer me, but I ended up going privately as it was cheaper. I'm paying them enough already without them getting a percentage of my therapy bill.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk to Elaine. How are you today?
Hilda died last night. I was there. Well, I was there as her daughter.
Why does she sound so happy about
It was
that?
nice. She had a good death. She got to say what she wanted to say.
The hell is a good death? What's a good death?
Hilda was Hilda to the end. I was the doting daughter. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I love you, Mum. Then Hilda, with almost her last breath, looks me straight in the eye and says, "Don't let them take Amelia."
Who's Amelia? Do you have access to sleeping pills?
Obviously, I'm a nurse. I can get access to sleeping tablets pretty easily, but it's not really that hard. It's probably the same for Jaya. She works for a doctor.
Did Dekker ever drink alcohol?
I don't know if he was an alcoholic or anything, but Dr. Dekker seemed to like a drink. He was drinking the day he died. Well, we both were, actually. It must be very stressful being a therapist. Do you find it stressful, Doctor?
Yes, because I have to deal with people like you. Yes, it's stressful. No, it's not stressful. I'm gonna go with no, it's not stressful.
Maybe you're just tired then. You should get some rest.
Why were you both drinking?
I can't remember exactly, but something in that session had shaken me up, so Dr. Dekker poured me a drink to calm my nerves. I didn't really have much. I'm not much of a drinker.
Tell me about Jaya.
Jaya seems really nice. I don't know why she'd want to work in a place like this.
Rude. What do you mean by a place like this?
I just mean, get all these weird people coming here. I mean, I've met some of them out in the waiting room. I know they're just people, but a couple of them have seriously given me the creeps.
Elaine says some of the other patients give her the creeps. Maybe I should ask her about each one. What patient gives you the creeps? Claire?
She's a slightly older one, isn't she? Always well dressed? Yes, her. I'm pretty good at picking up on people's energy, and hers is cold. Actually, I think I sort of know her. Claire Castleford, isn't it? Apparently, she attacked her husband or something.
Do you still think about Dekker?
I think of Dr. Dekker every time one of my patients dies. It makes me remember how he didn't care about his mum. He was a good therapist. He was a lousy son.
Why was Dekker a lousy son?
I was angry at Dr. Dekker. Hilda's daughter, she's in Australia, so fair enough, maybe she really couldn't get over to see her. But Dr. Dekker's mum was dying literally on the other side of town, and he just couldn't be bothered. I shifted for her, but in a way I wish I hadn't, because it let Dr. Dekker off the hook, you know? I didn't realise how little he cared until I told him the news.
I can stop you shifting.
You've never seen me angry, have you, Doctor? Don't say things like that when you don't mean them. It causes upset.
Who's Amelia?
Amelia's Hilda's doll. She used to have about 9 or 10 of them, all glassy-eyed and creepy looking, with frilly dresses and curls. All over her room they were. In the end, we had to get rid of them. They weren't very hygienic. But we let her keep one, and that was Amelia.
What happened to Hilda's doll?
I'm keeping her safe until I can pass her on to Hilda's daughter. Maybe she'll fly over for the funeral. I don't know. Are you okay, Doctor? You look a bit pale.
Did Dr. Dekker know you could shift?
Yes, I told Dr. Dekker. Most other people wouldn't have believed me, but he did. In fact, he cared far more about the shifting than he did about his mum dying.
Why do you think Dr. Dekker didn't care about his mum?
For a moment, I thought he might cry. Just for a split second. But he didn't. He just carried on with our session. I wish I knew what went on there. Jaya probably knows. She spent quite a long time with Sarah when she visited.
Did you ever try shifting for Dr. Dekker?
Yes, once. I wanted to show him what I could do so he could see for himself. I took his hand, I told him to think of a loved one, and then there was nothing. I mean, literally nothing, just an empty void. The only thing I could feel was his hand holding mine. I'm pretty sure without that I'm not sure I could have made it back.
How's Terry?
Terry hasn't been into work for a few days. I hope there's nothing wrong with her.
Why do I get the feeling that she doesn't really mean that? Are you just pretending to care about Terry?
Terry and I are never going to be best friends, but I wouldn't wish her ill.
Did you have a referral letter to see Dr. Dekker?
I referred myself because of Dr. Dekker's mother. Was I supposed to have a letter?
Okay, so let's move on. Let's go ahead and talk to Jaya. So, how are you today?
I don't want to talk about grief today. I'm getting enough grief from work.
Why is your work giving you grief?
I don't know if you know, but Professor Alderby used to be my professor. He teaches history and psychology, amongst other things. I know it's not technically work, but he asked if I would allow him to have the video footage of his sessions with Dr. Dekker. Dr. Dekker wanted to be removed from all of the videos, so it's jump cut up to jump cut, but I'm sure you've already noticed that.
What video footage?
I didn't think you'd mind, since it wasn't your case anyway. Mostly it's the professor talking about how he viewed reality back then, in so much as he thought it was changeable. There's nothing else to do but watch while things are encoding.
How is reality changeable?
Psychokinetics, remember? Cult of the Kinetic Mind? Professor Alderby said it was recommended reading to help psychiatrists in their frontline battle with insanity, he likes to call it.
Can you battle with insanity?
Professor Alderby saw the relationship between psychiatrist and patient as a winnable battle. The patient must be cured by removing their psychokinetic ability, if present, either by telling them it doesn't exist or by using another psychokinetic ability to negate it. It's a long time ago, I can't remember all of it. There was a specific example.
What specific example?
If someone tells you they can fly, you tell them you control air currents and that from now on they won't be allowed to use them. This would normally stimulate the brain in such a way that the patient stopped thinking they could fly. The main danger as the therapist is believing that you can control air currents.
Does psychokinesis really pose any danger to therapists?
The danger of pretending you have psychokinetic abilities is that you may start believing you have them and then have them. It's the paradox of the cure. Dr. Dekker loved paradoxes. His favorite was the grandfather paradox.
What is the grandfather paradox?
If you can travel back in time and kill your grandfather, then you cannot be born. But if you cannot be born, then you cannot kill your grandfather. It's a time traveler's chicken and egg, if you will.
Do you take sleeping pills?
I don't take sleeping tablets, never have. I'm not allowed to prescribe either. Dr. Dekker had me try to forge his signature once, but I was woeful.
The toxicology report mentions ethanol.
Some people would say Dr. Dekker had a bit of a drinking problem. It got worse and then it got better when his confidence turned up. I think it was the stress of dealing with the new patients. I like the odd tipple.
What's an odd tipple?
I've been known to drink, not as much at the moment, not as much as Dr. Dekker did. He kept at least one bottle in his desk drawer at all times. You can't imagine the amount of times I wanted to sneak in and have some.
Jay said Dr. Dekker kept a bottle in his desk drawer. Could someone have spiked it? Okay, could someone have spiked Dr. Dekker's bottle?
I suppose it's possible that somebody spiked his drink. Most people probably knew he had a bottle in his desk. Wouldn't have been that hard to empty out some capsules into it. Maybe the police should get fingerprints?
Yes, test for fingerprints.
I'll go and suggest it. Make sure nobody touches the bottle in the meantime.
Shouldn't they have technically already done that? Okay, so why did Dr. Dekker want to be removed from the videos?
I have no idea. Maybe he was an undercover secret agent? Maybe he was getting more annoying as time progressed. You're not, though. You're lovely. Is this a good time to ask for a raise?
Hey, you gotta try a little harder. A raise?
Wow. I was kidding, but thank you, Doctor. I'll take that as a yes. And don't worry, I'll sort it all out.
Of course. Okay, so did Dr. Dekker have any psychokinetic abilities?
Dr. Dekker definitely dabbled in that stuff. I'm not sure to what extent.
How well do you know Professor Alderby?
I like Professor Alderby. He turned me on to that book I've been raving about.
What book have you been raving about?
The Cult of the Kinetic Mind. I should start selling them myself.
Did Dr. Dekker ever say anything else about his mum?
Dr. Dekker told me he was adopted. His birth mother only turned up 5 years ago because she wanted money for her experimental cancer treatment. I'm not sure how much it cost or even if he had the money, but he didn't do it, and she became one mean mother.
Are you feeling stressed?
There's a lot of stress in here. We're dealing with people's lives. How do you relax, Doctor?
KJ asked how I relax. I relax with food, maybe alcohol also relaxes me. What else? Okay, relax listening to music.
I bet you like dance music. I don't know why.
I relax playing games.
I love video games. I just wish they'd make ones with stronger female protagonists. Sorry, I'd settle for any female protagonists.
Okay, relax by eating.
I love food. It will be my downfall. Stress eating is the worst.
And I relax playing sports.
Mariana thought I played hockey. Whatever that's supposed to mean.
Okay, so there's no more questions to ask her, so let's move on to Mariana. Alright, how are you today?
I feel thirsty, Doctor. And hot. Do you have any water?
Why do you feel thirsty and hot?
I've been drinking a lot of water recently. I didn't go to the beach. I didn't go to the sea. I said I would, but I didn't. I've been feeling this way for a while. It's like it's getting worse because I didn't go to the sea. It's like I'm having...
Do you take diazepam?
What's temazepam? Why are you asking?
Should I tell her? Yeah, let's just go ahead and say diazepam was found in Dekker's blood.
I don't take sleeping pills. Never have done. When you suffer blackouts already, you don't really get offered anything like that.
How are you getting worse?
I don't feel well. I feel sick most of the time, dizzy, thirsty. I got a head fog like you wouldn't believe. My doctor, Dr. Rose, sent me for blood tests.
What are the blood tests for?
Dr. Rose thinks maybe I have a vitamin deficiency. I can tell she has no idea. She smiles, but she hasn't got any answers. I think I probably need to go back to the beach. See, Doctor. It's calling me.
Is she Moana? The sea is calling you?
This sounds crazy, but I can hear the sea. It's like an alarm going off in my head. Do you know where the sea is? From here? It's over there. Wherever I am, I know exactly where the sea is. It's like a compass.
You talk about the beach a lot.
I have this recurring dream. I'm at the beach. I strip and walk into the sea. The sea feels warm and comforting. Not cold and harsh like you'd think. I swim down to the bottom of the ocean. I can breathe freely. I can breathe water. On the ocean floor ahead of me, there's a beautiful creature. A glowing being with wispy limbs. It's so warm. I'm transfixed. But my feet shift. I'm unsteady. Below me, the floor is woven in human flesh. Dead bodies, but some of them still struggling for life. These are the ones touching me, gripping my feet. I scream. That's when I wake up. Do you have that dream, Doctor?
No, I don't have that dream.
It's horrific and beautiful at the same time.
What's the glowing bean?
It's a dream, Doctor. Stranger things happen in dreams.
Has anyone else followed you?
Do you forget anything from our sessions, Doctor? People follow me to the beach. I don't know who they are, and I don't know what happens to them. I don't always get followed, though, so it doesn't explain my blackouts.
Okay, what happens to the people who follow Mariana? What happens to your followers?
I said I don't know what happens to them. It's not always to the beach. Sometimes they follow me home.
Where's home for you?
My home is in Chantry. You know that. You rang my doorbell last night.
Why would I come to your house?
I don't know. I didn't kiss you, but you just followed me, like the others. I don't feel comfortable here, Doctor. I'd like to leave.
Did Dekker lend you money?
He lent me some money to start my business. It was a proper agreement. I remember signing things. He thought that a distraction would do me good. I don't think he expected me to trawl the beach for treasure and sell it online.
Dr. Dekker's loan. I should take a look at the contract, which we already did. What did you need distraction from?
Dr. Dekker thought I had too much time on my hands, so a distraction would do me good. He lent me $15,000, all in all.
What does the alarm sound like?
I hear a sound like singing, calling me. It gets stronger when I face it, when I move towards it. That's how I know where the sea is. But when I don't go to the sea, I feel like the sound gets louder all the time. I'm having trouble sleeping. Perhaps I need sleeping tablets after all.
Was Dekker an alcoholic?
I've seen Dr. Dekker drink, but not that much. Certainly not during our sessions. He had other things on his mind, I'm sure.
You know I never rang your doorbell.
If you say so, it must have been your twin then.
My twin?
I don't know if I have a twin. Do you have a twin, Doctor?
No, I don't have a twin.
I know you don't. It was definitely you, wearing what you're wearing now.
Have you been dancing recently?
No. There's been no dancing. I haven't been feeling that well, Doctor.
Has Nathan spoken to you?
He's the cute, sad-looking one, isn't he? He asked me out, and I said I'd let him know. Do you think I should go out with him?
Yes, go out with Nathan. No, don't. I think I'm gonna say no. I think she should stay far away from him. No, don't go out with Nathan.
Doctor, I didn't take you for the jealous type. Are you feeling a bit jealous?
No, I'm afraid you're gonna kill him. So no, I'm not jealous.
That answer would have a lot more weight if you stopped coming around my house.
I can stop you having blackouts.
You said it with such a serious look on your face, I almost believed you. It would be good if you had some kind of superpower that helped me, but I don't think so.
Tell me about your referral letter.
It's a referral letter, Doctor. Don't overthink it. A girl can't be too careful with everything that's been going on.
Okay, so there's nothing left to ask her, so let's move on to Nathan. How are you today?
I'm feeling good. I ran into one of your other patients, Mariana. She's beautiful. I think we might go on a date.
Dude, run. Have a look at the toxicology report.
Temazepam is the same sleeping pill Dr. Dekker prescribed me. Why would he mix those with alcohol? People are such idiots. Which reminds me, that truck driver died.
What do you know about Dekker's drinking habits?
Alcohol isn't something I usually notice on people. That's all their slurring and weaving around. Was Dr. Dekker an alcoholic? Probably. I never saw him drink, though.
Which truck driver died?
The truck driver that ran into Hannah. He was divorced, apparently. He killed himself. He mixed sleeping pills with alcohol, too. But he died in his garage.
How did he die in his garage?
I read it in the paper. He'd been drinking. Then he took the sleeping pills. Then he went into his garage and put the hose pipe through his window. Not until he put his daughter in the seat first.
That's awful. Did the truck driver's daughter die as well?
It's one of those newspaper stories you read and you hope it says he leaves behind his wife and 7-year-old daughter. But his daughter was in the car. Do you know, I wrote him a letter.
Tell me about the letter.
Dr. Dekker told me one of the ways to get through my grief would be to write a letter to the truck driver. I tried to forgive him. I know it was my fault. But the thing that made me feel best was blaming him. I think maybe he killed himself because of me. Do you think I'm to blame, Doctor?
No, you're not to blame. Yes, you are. I would say no, you're not to blame.
His daughter's picture was in the paper. Molly.
Tell me about Molly.
Ever since I saw a picture in the paper, I've started thinking I could see her. Out of the corner of my eye. Like she's watching me.
Yikes.
Crazy, right?
I still need to ask you about Dekker.
What are you trying to do most? Cure his patients or find out who killed him?
I want to find out who killed him.
Well, at least you're being honest. Do you know that Dr. Dekker thought one of his patients was trying to kill him?
Why did Dr. Dekker think a patient was trying to kill him?
He told me in one of our sessions, which was later rewound, that someone had been leaving him messages on his prescription pad. Not good messages.
What sort of messages were on the prescription pad?
He didn't tell me anything specifically. Just death threats. It was one of his many rants. I just sat there quietly, hoping he wasn't going to try and hypnotize me again. I asked him if it was a boy or a girl's handwriting. He said he knew who it was, and that they'd be in trouble. I think he was bluffing.
Let's talk about Mariana.
I can't really explain it, but she seems like such a friendly person. I think the police are barking up the wrong tree.
What have the police got to do with Mariana?
I think I've probably said too much. It's probably not the same girl anyway.
I can stop you reliving days.
Please do. I wish I could believe you.
Tell me about your referral.
My solicitors assured me that I wouldn't have to discuss anything about my trial with you, so I'm not going to. Concentrate on my state of mind, and let me worry about other things.
Okay, so no more questions there. Let's double check through everyone. Okay, so we've asked everybody everything. So let's go on and go to the next day.
You said you'd help me with my problem, but he's still here.
Interesting. Who is still here?
Dr. Dekker. He wants me to kill people.
Dekker wants you to kill people.
He wants them to follow me to the sea, to the creature.
What happens when they follow you?
It eats them. It's getting stronger. Dr. Dekker says when it's strong enough, it's going to walk again. That's why I black out.
Why do you black out?
He doesn't want me to know. He doesn't want me to remember. I'm feeding a beast that wants to eat us all. You've got to tell me, Doctor. You have got to tell me the truth.
What do you want me to tell you?
You're dreaming. but your dreams are the truth. Don't forget me when you wake. I don't know how I'm in your dream, but now we're together. Let's play a game.
What game?
I say a word, you say a word. Ready? Guilty.
Innocent.
Murderer.
Mariana.
Wrong answer. Now you're stuck with me. 3 little words and I'll let you go.
I love you. Backwards. I love you?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Okay, that's the picture of David that we had there. Okay. Right, and let's continue to the next day. This is the last day, if I remember right.
The truck driver
The little girl.
killed himself.
David is weird.
She's watching me.
I need to put David
Molly.
out of his misery.
Is it okay to steal things?
Sleeping tablets, fingerprints.
Dead bodies.
I saw Jessica.
Should I kill David?
Hilda died last night.
Do you think I should tell her about
Psychokinetics,
the photos?
Dr. Dekker seemed to like a drink.
bit of a drinking problem.
It's probably the same for Jaya.
One of his patients was trying to kill him,
He lent me some money.
leaving him messages.
Creature, human flesh.
I'd teleported.
Do you have that dream, Doctor?
Okay, Act 5, Insanity, please.
Oh, doctor. You look. Oh. There's something I need to tell you. I can't find Dr. Dekker's prescription pad anywhere. I'm not sure when it went missing, but I don't remember seeing it for a while. Yours is there, but I'm scared one of the patients may have got their hands on it. Let me know if you find it, anyway, and ask me about Mariana later. I've got news.
Okay, Dekker's prescription pad is missing. I should ask the patients about it and the death threats Nathan said were on it. Okay, so we've got Nathan, Mariana, Jaya, Elaine, Claire, and Bryce. Let's go ahead and start with Bryce. So how are you today?
I'm not feeling very well. I tried to sleep through the midnight hour, and I slept for 8 hours. When I woke up, it was looking at me. That thing was looking at me. Time was still frozen. I can't escape it. I'm doomed.
Why do you think you're doomed?
It knows what I did with Dr. Dekker. It's been taunting me.
How's it been taunting you?
It wanted me to follow it, so I did. It brought me here, Doctor. Here. It thinks I killed Dr. Dekker. I'm sure of it.
Did you kill Dekker?
I took his body. It was me. I took it from the coffin because I didn't want him put in the ground. I don't know what I was going to do with him. I just didn't think burial would be enough. Maybe I would cremate him. But the body disappeared.
How did the body disappear?
If only he'd been cremated like you will be. I have a private tool shed at the graveyard. I moved his body in there before the burial. But when I came back, he'd gone. It was locked and he'd gone. How did that happen, Doctor? How did Dekker do that?
Maybe Dekker is back from the dead.
Perhaps. It had crossed my mind that Dr. Dekker perhaps resurrected himself. Maybe he wasn't dead, just sleeping.
Maybe someone else moved Dekker's body.
If someone else moved Dekker, they'd had to have picked the lock, moved the body, and then locked up again. Why go to the trouble of locking up again?
Maybe Dekker teleported.
It's not out of the question to think that Dr. Dekker teleported himself out of the tool shed. If I can do it, he probably can. That's the kind of thing I've been thinking. But the thing that's been following me, it can teleport too. I think the thing might be Dekker. Is the thing Dekker?
No, the thing is not Dekker.
And so it is. You worried me then, Doctor. I thought you were starting to believe in the unbelievable too.
How's Jessica?
I waved back at Jessica yesterday, and she smiled. It was bigger than normal. I think we may have made a connection, Doctor. The photos I have of her, I think I'm going to destroy them. They're my problem, not
You
hers.
should have already done that, Dillhole. Are you still stealing things?
I teleported back into the art gallery after our session, in the midnight hour. I replaced the painting, so I haven't stolen anything for a long time now. Perhaps a cheeky borrow best describes it.
Still stealing. What has been happening in the midnight hour?
I've tried to avoid my extra hour. I tried to sleep through it. I did try one thing. I spied on you, Doctor. You have a strangeness, don't you?
And you're weird, so... pot calling the kettle black. What strangeness do I have?
You live in the same house as Doctor Dekker. I spied on him several times, so I know the house very well. You kept it almost entirely the same. Why did you live in the same house as Doctor Dekker? Is it a perk? Or you, Doctor Dekker?
I've wondered if I'm Dr. Dekker, but I'm gonna say no, I'm not Dr. Dekker. The house is a perk.
I thought it might be a perk. I'm sorry I spied on you. I was just getting worried that you weren't who you said you were. Just some mannerisms, strangeness. It's good you've adopted his dog, though. I'm not sure many people would have done.
Do you know anything about the missing prescription pad?
I didn't steal Dekker's pad. I didn't have to. If I wanted to use it, I could just teleport in here and steal a sheet. Why take the whole pad? Why be that obvious?
Do you know anything about the death threats on the pad?
Well, kudos to whoever had the guts to do that. Wasn't me. What did they say? You've piqued my interest now.
You said you were trying to sleep through the night.
I tried to sleep through my extra hour. I didn't want to face it. That thing has been taunting me. I wish I was still religious.
You said a thing was looking at you.
The thing that's following me, it doesn't have a face. I saw it close up when it was standing over me. It has no face, no eyes, no mouth, no nothing. Inside its hood is just space. Just a black hole.
Okay, so nothing else to ask him. Let's go to Claire. How are you today?
I'm fine. I killed David. Again. Like you told me to.
Did you see Anushka again?
Anushka's fine, I would imagine. Her father came over to talk about the missing cat. It would have been an easier conversation had I not been splattered in blood and sweating like a milkmaid.
What did Anushka's father do?
It seemed like he wanted to give me a piece of his mind, but when he saw the state I was in, he fled. There were no police that turned up. I suspect I've got away with it, at least this second time. Now all that's left is for you to write up my diagnosis.
What diagnosis?
That I'm not sound of mind. That I wasn't sound of mind when I killed David. It's up to you whether you want to mention any of our other conversations. I'm happy either way.
How did you kill David?
With an axe. I got him to put his head on the wood block. He didn't really know what he was doing. He trusted me. I cut off his head. When I picked it up, he was smiling. Probably a muscle spasm.
What else can you tell me about Dekker?
Oh, the continuing saga of Dr. Dekker. After he'd seen David and done his due diligence, he came up with an offer I couldn't refuse. Remember? The one I told you about when we first met.
What was Dekker's offer?
Dr. Dekker wanted me to reanimate him. He said he would kill David unless I agreed.
How were you supposed to reanimate him?
He called me on Valentine's night. He promised to use a disposable phone so there would be no trace. I was supposed to come here, where I would find him dead, and then reanimate him. I agreed immediately. It seems that Dr. Dekker went through with his half of the agreement. But I forgot to turn up.
Do you know anything about the prescription pad?
I never saw Dr. Dekker's prescription pad. I imagine he kept it hidden away. To stop people stealing it?
Did you write death threats on the pad?
I've already told you, I never saw his prescription pad, so of course I didn't write him death threats. It sounds like someone is trying to frame me. Who's trying to frame me, Doctor?
What if I don't think you're insane?
Doctor, did I tell you about that time that I used the power of my mind to bring my husband back to life? I can't imagine what I'd do to the psychiatrist that double-crossed me. But I'm sure it would be fun. For me, at least.
Yeah, okay, you're crazy, and I'm gonna sign that right now. Why would Dekker want to kill David?
Dr. Dekker threatened to kill David. That terrified me at the time. I still had hope that David would recover.
Do you think Mariana is framing you?
I don't really know the girl, but I did buy out her loan from Dr. Dekker. I mainly did it to shut him up about it. But can you imagine having him as a creditor? That poor girl. I hope it didn't accrue anything more than interest.
Okay, so we're done with that. Let's go to Elaine. How are you today?
I'm good. I feel better. Last session, that was all negative. I don't want to be like that. I made you something. A little thank you for being so nice. They're cookies.
Do you know anything about the prescription pad?
What about the prescription pad?
Do you know about the death threats?
Someone was sending Dr. Dekker death threats. Had no idea. You never said anything to me about it.
Did you take the pad?
Yes, I took it. I had to.
Why did you have to steal the pad?
Dr. Dekker told me he could use it to take away my gift.
Why were you feeling negative?
I'm a happy person. And really, what's the point of being miserable? It doesn't matter what's going on at work or anything. Happy is the only goal. Max told me that. I think some footballer might have said it.
Who's Max again?
I told you about Max, right? Didn't I mention him before?
Didn't you date Max?
Yes, but you don't know the whole story. Max is 77. He was one of my patients. I thought he was dying, so I shifted for him. Became an old sweetheart of his, apparently. Only Max didn't die. He actually got better somehow. And then he came and asked me to do it again.
Who was Max's sweetheart?
Eleanor, her name was, or is. Like I say, he doesn't even know where she is now. But she obviously still loves him. When I shifted, I felt all fluttery and excited. It's so sweet, isn't it?
Did you become Eleanor for Max?
Yes. Max and Eleanor had dinner on Valentine's Day. I felt a bit weird when he asked me. But he said he just wanted to have one more date with her and then he wouldn't ask me again. And to be fair, he was a perfect gentleman. I mean, I didn't want to have that conversation.
You said you fooled around with Max.
I lied about Max coming back to my place. I was scared. I didn't know you very well, and you were asking me about Valentine's night, and well, I don't have an alibi. The truth is, I got a taxi back here after the date. But it's okay, because you know me now, and you know I'd never have hurt Dr. Dekker. Are you sure
Okay.
you don't want a cookie?
No, I do not want your cookies, okay? Because there's poison in them, because I've just realized you were probably the murderer. Why did you come here after your date with Max?
I was feeling guilty about taking the prescription pad. I didn't think anyone else would be here, so I was going to return it.
Oh, she took it because she had
But when
threads
I
on
got
it.
here, there was someone in the office, so I left.
Why would Dr. Dekker want to take away your gift?
I don't think he wanted to stop me, just for me to think that he could, so he could get me to do what he wanted. I don't know, it shook me up a bit.
What did Dr. Dekker want you to do?
Dekker wanted me to teach him how to shift, but I don't really know how I'd do it, so I'm not sure I could teach someone else to.
When did you steal the prescription pad?
It was on the day he died. I took it when he was getting me a drink, you know, because I was in a bit of a state.
Did you kill Dekker?
I could never hurt anyone. You have to believe me, Doctor.
Thank you for bringing me a present.
You're very welcome.
I'm not going to eat them. I'm going to have Bryce have one. And if he doesn't kill over, then I'll eat one. So what's in the cookies?
The usual stuff. Flour, sugar, butter, chocolate chips, and my special ingredient. A little herbalist magic to give you some pep. You look like you need it.
Let me guess. Arsenic? Cyanide? You put herbs in the cookies?
You can put herbal remedies in food. The effect's more subtle, but it does work.
Why did you shift again for Max?
Thing is, because Max didn't die, he saw me change back after I let go of his hand. There wasn't anything I could do about it.
Why didn't Max die?
I don't know why Max didn't die. It usually works.
That sounds kind of sus, too. What do you mean by usually works?
I just mean when I shift. They see their loved one and say what they have to say, and then there's nothing stopping them from moving on. Why? What did you think I meant?
What time did you come to the office after your date?
It was quite early, about 9:30ish.
Okay, so let's go, we'll just go on to Jaya. So how are you today?
I'm worried about you, Doctor. You seem quiet and, well, it's just your fingerprints on the bottle. Maybe you touched it by accident? You didn't know him, did you?
No, I didn't know Dekker.
Then why are your fingerprints on his vodka bottle? No, don't answer that. Oh, the infectious madness of Dr. Dekker, who hasn't it touched? I'm so worried.
What's the news about Mariana?
I've been reviewing your files. I know, I'm sorry, a bit naughty. But have you considered that Mariana may have murdered Dr. Dekker because of the money she owed him? She had most to gain. She got all the money if he died. And it makes most sense, doesn't it?
Okay, so Jaya thinks Mariana's motive might be money. Okay, so why are you worried about me?
You just seem a little different from the person who turned up all those weeks ago. You don't talk to me as much as you did. You flitter between patients in a daydream. Tell me what things are bothering you.
Okay, it sounds like Jaya might think I'm going insane. Do you think I'm going insane?
Who measures sanity or insanity? One man's philosopher is another man's fool. I'm keeping an eye on you. I won't let you go crazy.
How are you coping with the grief?
I think I'm okay with the grief now. My mother died suddenly, and I think I was projecting Dr. Dekker's death to be about her. I know they're not related.
How did your mother die?
My mother died suddenly, like Dr. Dekker. For her, though, it was different. She burst into flames. I was 7. They said she must have been smoking and drinking on the sofa, but she doesn't smoke or drink. Professor Alderby said it was spontaneous combustion.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like spontaneous human combustion. You said Dekker's prescription pad went missing.
Dr. Dekker's prescription pad is still missing. I'll let you know if it turns up.
Tell me about the death threats.
I didn't know anything about that. If I have any grievances with my employer, I spit in their coffee. I hope that's how you like it.
Did you have any grievances with Dekker?
Don't become like Dr. Dekker. I think that somebody killed him because he was using them. There's some footage I can't show you because it would affect you too much. Suffice to say, when Mariana told him she could breathe underwater, he wanted the same power for himself. So instead of trying to cure her of it, he'd try and amplify it to see how it worked, so he could imagine it for himself. I think he did that with all his special patients. I think he wanted all of their powers. If you believe in that sort of thing.
Who were the special patients?
Any patient who presented with psychokinetic issues, they were his special patients. Towards the end, he began ignoring all the other cases. Most of the patients saw it as a curse, what they were experiencing, what they were unwittingly doing. Dr. Dekker saw it as an ability, a power to be harnessed and used for, well, God knows what he was going to use it all for. So we made them give in to it, and it consumed them, consumed all of them. Whether you believe any of that or not is your choice, but they did, which made them angry. And that's why I think he was murdered by a patient.
Who do you think murdered Dekker?
It's not your job to find out who the murderer is. It's the police. You can only point them in the right direction. Murder is a means to an end. There's a lot more going on here you should be thinking about.
Do you think Cthulhu is real?
A fictional space god that's resting at the bottom of the Atlantic. It's not likely, is it? Or maybe you think it is. Have you spoke to Mariana today?
I'm not sure the patients are improving.
Your patients will always be a bother, but you're caring for people. We do still care, don't we, Doctor? In a few weeks' time, there'll be a whole new bunch of faces with a whole new bunch of quirks. Let's not have a whole new doctor, shall we?
Okay, let's move on to Mariana. How are you today?
I'm fine, Doctor. I went to the beach, swam under the sea, and returned to tell the tale. No blackouts. Nothing.
Do you know about the stolen prescription pad?
Why would someone steal Dr. Dekker's prescription pad? I didn't even know he had one.
Did you write the death threats?
I prefer actions over words, Doctor. You know that.
Did you take the prescription pad?
Wow. That's a low blow, Doctor. And after all our sessions, I'm not a thief. Even the loan, that was just unfortunate.
Tell me about the loan.
Dr. Dekker asked for his loan back after diagnosing me as sane. In his opinion, my blackouts and everything else were fictional. He had no proof, of course, either way, or I'd be cured, but he asked for his money back, and I didn't have it.
Did you kill Dekker because you owed him money?
Why would I do that? Dr. Dekker transferred our loan agreement to Claire at Castleford. She bought him out. I owe her the money now.
Okay, so Mariana says Claire took over Dekker's loan payment, which we did find out. Tell me about the loan transfer.
I don't know why she did it, but Dr. Dekker got repaid, and now my agreement is with Claire. You should ask her.
How are your dreams?
I don't dream, Doctor. I haven't dreamed for years now.
You're lying about not dreaming.
Yeah. I did say that was a dream, didn't I? Is it easier to swallow, knowing it's the truth?
What's the truth?
The truth is, I'm not like you, Doctor. Or anyone else. I can swim to the bottom of the ocean for hours. And people follow me. Even if it's the last thing they do.
Tell me about being followed.
People follow me into the sea. I don't force them, they just follow to see the creature.
What is the creature?
I'm not sure what you'd call it. A wisp? A star? It's so bright, and warm, and loving. I don't know why it leaves me. It only wants the others. It feeds on them.
How does it feed?
When I look down, I black out. But if I can just keep looking forward, no blackouts. I can just swim back to the top when it's finished.
What's wrong with looking down?
You really want to know? If I look down, it's writhing, just limbs of people from the clubs and the bars. Not just from this week, but last week, last month, last year. They all look terrified, but somehow still alive. The creature. It's all inside them, poking holes through them that they shouldn't have. It just eats them. Slowly.
Yikes. The creature eats them.
The missing people. That's where they go. I don't know I'm doing it. I swear I don't, Doctor. The creature. I hear it. It's hungry. Nobody can know. It's our secret.
I can't keep a secret if people are getting hurt.
It's our secret. What will you tell people, that I'm feeding people to a creature at the bottom of the ocean? What proof do you have? You can't tell on me. You know what you do to me when you visit. I let you do it because sometimes I'm ashamed of what I've done. You make me feel like I deserve it.
What do I do when I visit you?
You get inside me, Doctor. And it hurts. And you don't care.
What missing people?
I can't explain what happened with John. He followed me back from the bar that night and swam with me under the ocean. blacked out. He'd gone.
Who's John?
You must have read about John in the news. He was a local student who went missing. He was a looker. And he had a way with words, but he was also a cheat. The creature liked eating him a lot. But I can't explain what happened next.
What happened next to John?
I left him to be eaten. And the next morning, he turns up in my bed at my house. He's not wet at all. No signs he's been in the sea, but he has holes in him. Lots of holes. His inside is on the outside. Just a ball of tangled worms.
Yuck.
And now they're blaming me, but you knew that, Doctor, didn't you? That's why I'm here.
Why are you really here?
They think I killed John. John and some others. They need to know whether I'm insane or not.
Who needs to know whether you're insane?
My lawyer. He says I'm insane, but that he needs you to rubber stamp it. Do you think I'm insane, Doctor?
No, you're not insane. Yes, you're insane. Did you kill John? I'm gonna go with no.
I told you how
Pretty
grateful
sure
I'd be.
Cthulhu's down there.
But you need to fix my problem first. If they try me as sane, I'll be in prison for a long time. And then, how would you get your reward, Doctor?
Did you kill John?
No! The creature killed John.
Okay, how well do you know Claire?
She's the woman that took over the loan I had with Dr. Dekker.
Has anyone else turned up at your home?
You're a naughty one, Doctor. You know you visited my home. Why do you keep denying it?
I did not visit you at home.
Don't you remember? That's a shame. You had fun.
What did we do?
If you can't remember, I'm certainly not going to enlighten you.
Then it didn't happen. Okay, and let's go with Nathan. How are you today?
I think you know who killed Dr. Dekker, so you're gonna have a good day. Can we talk a bit about hypnotism, though?
Hypnotism.
I've heard you can plant key words in people when they're hypnotized. How would I know if I had any? I think that the hypnotism didn't take, but maybe Dr. Dekker did hypnotize me, and it did work, and he told me to think that it didn't. I think I found one of the key words.
What keyword?
I can't say what it is. I don't want to trigger it. I was on the phone to my dad last night, and he said something, and boom, I fell asleep. Normally I wish that kind of thing would happen, but it just happened. I phoned him back. I thought it was seconds, but it was an hour later. I asked him what he'd said. He'd watched some NASA program. He was reading off planets. It was one of them.
Saturn? Oh. I think that was it. The heck did he do? Wait, he just walk like in a circle? I should tell Nathan he went into a trance. Oh, let's just see what if I say the other one's Mars.
I I don't want it to be triggered.
Pluto?
Pluto's not a planet, is it? And why are you even trying?
I know Pluto's a planet once again, so you just went into a trance.
So he did plant me with something. I have absolutely no idea. Did you find out what the key word is? What is it? No. Don't say it. Write it down for me. And thank you. You know, there's something I've not been telling you.
What haven't you been telling me?
It's about time travel.
Who murdered Deckard?
This might feel like the darkest timeline, but it's not my darkest timeline. I didn't kill Dr. Dekker. I look at one of your other patients, or maybe even your assistant.
Do you know about the prescription pad?
His prescription pad's missing. The one with all the death threats on it. Do you think the murderer took it to cover their tracks?
How are they covering their tracks?
I suppose it could be a coincidence, but I'm guessing whoever murdered Dr. Dekker stole his prescription pad.
What about time travel?
I read a book about time travel. I thought what was happening to me was a type of time travel. I couldn't control it, but at the end of each day, I would travel back in time to the beginning and live it over again. I'm like Doctor Who, but I don't have a TARDIS, and I can't choose what time I go to. Except once.
What do you mean, except once?
The doctor said she was legally still alive. The only thing they could do was starve her. Hannah didn't die in the accident the first time around. It was worse than death. She wouldn't have wanted that. I was looking at a photo from around the time of the accident. I had a lot of alcohol, which I think was probably necessary. I jumped back to the junction. I started pulling out, but the lorry was already on us. I drove into the lorry to make sure. I didn't wake up in hospital because I woke up the next day, present day. Things had changed.
What had changed about Hannah's death?
Her obituary changed in the press clippings I kept. It said she was killed instantly. Nothing else changed. Her family seemed to hate me more, which is ironic because the first time around, they pulled her off life support. So I saved them the indignity. Now they just think it was my careless driving that caused her death.
How have things been with Mariana?
Things have been interesting. Thanks to Mariana.
Why thanks to Mariana?
We went on a date. Well, sort of. She texted me this bar she was going to, and I just turned up. She can dance.
Oh no, dude. Get out of
I
there.
was transfixed most of the night. Next thing I know, I'm lying in my bed, at home. The room's spinning. The day moved forward. In fact, every night I go and watch Mariana dance, the day moves forward. Do you think Mariana likes me?
No, Mariana doesn't like you. You know what? Yeah. I think she likes you.
Thanks, Doctor. That's what I'm hoping.
How do you feel about Hannah now?
I'm at peace with Hannah now. I couldn't save her. And I'll keep trying, but I must move forward. I did kind of ask you not to talk about this anymore, but I suppose you're not taking notes.
It says Nathan clearly I'm not taking... Nathan clearly I'm taking notes. Why lie about Hannah being on life support?
I haven't been lying. As far as everyone's concerned, she died in that car accident. Instantly.
Did you ever think to drive away from the lorry?
I didn't have time. I jumped back to the split second the accident happened. The truck was already on us. I swerved left the first time, so I tried right. If I could have saved her, I would have done. I didn't want her to die.
Okay, so no more questions with him or anyone, okay? So we're going to go ahead and move on, which lets me accuse. Okay, so who murdered Dr. Dekker? So I'm leaning towards Elaine, or Elaine, I can't remember how to pronounce it. But I'm positive it's not Nathan, positive it's not Jaya, and it's not Claire, it's not Bryce, and it's not Mariana. And the reason I think it's Elaine is because she had originally told me that she went home with Max when they went on their date on Valentine's Day, And then she admitted to me that she didn't, and part of it was because she didn't have an alibi. So I believe that is the key right there that says she's the one that did it. Hopefully she is, because I've only solved this once, and that was when I had played through when I first recorded this, and then, had issues with editing it and getting uploaded because it ended up being too large. So let's go ahead and say Eileen.
No, you've got it all wrong. I'm not a murderer. I'm a good person. I help people. Don't you see? Dr. Dekker was going
I think
to
I got it right again.
Everything. If I showed him how to shift, I don't think he would use it to help people. Do you? He'd do bad things. I didn't want to kill him, but I didn't have any choice. I came back here after my date with Max. Confessed to stealing the prescription pad, so he let me in. Dr. Dekker was already drinking. It was easy to mix in a few sleeping tablets when he wasn't looking. Then I just waited. I was going to try to push him out of the window. Make it look like an accident. It would have been better for everybody, but I couldn't move him. So I used the paper spike. It's not a bad thing. I did it so I could keep helping people. You look so ill, Doctor. Here, take my hand. It's going to be okay.
No, stay away from me. Do not touch me. You caught the killer. Yes! It's funny, I go on a spree of never having been able to do it. Okay, so, but what about your other patients? And now I've done it like back to back. Okay, and what about you? Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Einstein.
So I've got a new dog, a basset hound. She's got these big floppy ears and a really sad face. Even sadder than I look. Ginger. I call her Ginger. She's a rescue. But since I've had Ginger, I've never looked back. Literally. Not one day.
That's good.
I'm not really sure what you'd call it. Mutually assured delusions? I think Dr. Dekker was projecting his weird fantasies on me, and it was just going to be easier to go along with it. To participate. I feel much better now I know I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't hurt anyone. Did I?
There's no need to go over old ground. I understand. David died when I stabbed him, and everything else since, everything else that's happened, that was all me. David, Anushka's father, Iris. What's next for me, Doctor? How do we cure what I have? By all accounts, and thanks to a very unfriendly jury, it seems like we're going to have quite a lot of time to figure that out.
I think I was in my own head too much, manifesting things that weren't there. But I'm very much an art connoisseur now. It's definitely helping keeping me sane. I realized that I'm a very visual person, and paintings can keep me occupied for hours. I go to Providence whenever I get the time. It's the local art gallery here. The best time to go is late at night. You get the place all to yourself.
What I want to know is, how did you know which patient was the murderer? I mean, they all lied to you, didn't they? I'm just glad it's business as usual around here and I'm not having to look for another doctor again. It's embarrassing. Dr. Dekker almost caught me writing the advert for his replacement.
Okay, the curse continues at Dr. Dekker's.
The
Oh, he's reading that.
curse continues at Dr. Dekker's psychiatry practice, where another physician has been murdered by a patient. Found by night cleaning staff, Dr. Dekker's replacement was pinned to the chair with a paper spike, in what police are describing as a copycat murder. Jaya. You're supposed to be looking after them. How many more do we have to go through before you get a good one?
Great, I ended up dead. Thank you for playing. It's funny, after all that, and I still ended up dead. Oh, I got an achievement. Hintless Wonder. 0 hints, and you absolutely didn't cheat at all. Oh, that's because the last time I played this, I didn't get it because I accidentally hit the hint button when I was trying to hit, I think the one with that always has the exclamation point, the note button. So there you have it, everyone. That is the Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker. I did find the killer again. It was Eileen. Let me know down in the comments after watching the playthrough, was that going to be your guess on who did it? I mean, she was definitely sus, but it was that Act 5 that let me know for sure that it probably was her, because she admitted to not having an alibi on Valentine's Day night when Dr. Dekker was murdered. So yeah, like I said, leave me a comment. Please leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Bye.